Download the AllStar app. Make your picks for UFC fights, challenge your friends, level up and win prizes. Link in description. Get it now.
Let's jump into last year, man. Last year was an interesting year for you because you're supposed to fight Junior Tafa, ended up fighting his brother Justin. The first fight, no contest, you know what I mean? Shit happens. Second fight, you know, didn't go your way. Just take us through that whole year, man, because not only you, Carl Williams just went through the same thing, you know what I mean? Like, he fought the brothers, too.
Yeah, and it's funny, man, because I actually I spent some time talking to Carl Williams at the PI, man. He's a really cool dude. Yeah. This is far before I knew he was going to fight Top or whatever, but it's kind of funny how it kind of comes full circle. Yeah, in terms of last year, how everything shook out, you know, it was, well, first we go back to I was supposed to fight in Perth, and then I ended up tearing my bicep a couple weeks before that fight. Did my rehab, came back from a torn bicep in about 3.5 months, and that hard work and dedication allowed me to get on the Jacksonville card. You know, my hometown, my UFC debut. That goes to shit where an accidental eye poke, you know, in front of all my people ended up, you know, not going my way. Obviously, it was a no contest. There was an opportunity to run that fight back. Much to, I think, a lot of people didn't want me to take that fight, just being in Australia, being the travel. I don't fit on a plane that well, believe it or not. So there was some qualms about me taking that fight. But me as a man, you know, I felt like that I owed that to Justin. He flew all the way to Jacksonville for my debut. I felt like I had to make that right and fly to Australia, and no excuses. I wasn't jet lagged or anything like that. The travel was fine. Unfortunately, he was just the better man that night. I made one mistake, and one mistake at heavyweight can change everything. But I always say, if you lose in this sport, if you lose in this game, it gives you opportunities to grow. It gives you opportunities to take a look at yourself in the mirror and say, where do I need to make changes? And those changes have been made. My skill set has increased because of that match, and I'm excited to display April 27th of the new things that I've learned.
So, you know, you come off the Justin Tafa fight. How are you, like, physically? Because, you know, you talked about the torn bicep. You know, you've been through, you know, a couple camps that year. How are you physically?
I mean, physically, I was fine. I was back in the gym, so, you know, I thought it would have been Sunday there. I got back, like, I think it was, like, Monday then here, and I was back doing stuff. It would have been Thursday. You know, I'm a guy who trains year-round. I'm a guy who doesn't really take a lot of time off. Even when I had surgery on my bicep, the day after my surgery, I was back in the gym throwing my other hand with my arm in the sling. I'm not a type of guy that can sit still and just like kind of be in my own thoughts. I'd much rather be moving, be working towards something, you know. So it was never a time to feel sorry for myself or, you know, mope or just sit around. I mean, it was time to get back to work, address some things of the mistakes that I made, and that's the beautiful thing about this sport is that if you take this sport seriously and if you look at yourself in the mirror and you don't lie to yourself, there's so many opportunities to get better and there's so many opportunities to grow. And that's what I feel like I've done since that fight in Australia.
How many fighters do you think are lying to themselves?
Oh, it's all the time. And that's with a lot of professional athletes outside of even the fight game. I think as athletes, we're programmed where, you know, things didn't just go my way. Things just, you know, maybe I didn't have a good fight camp. Maybe I wasn't feeling myself. Things like that. Bullshit. You know, no one feels 100% ever walk into a cage, right? You, like, there's anxiousness, there's nerves. I mean, if you're training MMA, you're gonna have injuries, so no one's ever 100%. So I'm the last person to use injuries or what you're going through in life as an excuse because we all go through shit, you know. So I think the real ones can take a look at themselves and say, "Hey, I screwed up, I fucked up. How can I get better now?" And I think if you can have those conversations with yourself, that's where you make the progress. That's where you can make the big strides and become a champion one day.
Without a doubt. And, you know, you've been a high-level athlete most of your life. Burnout, has that ever hit you?
No, burnout happens when you stop loving what you do. And when I played football, I always told myself that if the game ever stopped being fun, if the game ever started to feel like a job, I would walk away from it. And lo and behold, my second stint with the Chicago Bears, I remember sitting in the locker room, and this is after I got cut twice in one day, and that's a long story, but I get cut twice in one day. They made a mistake. They cut me again. And I remember sitting there thinking, like, you know what? I'm 23, 24 years old right now. I feel like I'm a pawn in a chess game. This isn't for me anymore. This isn't fun anymore. This seems too much of like a job. And when that happened, I wasn't gonna fake it. I mean, yeah, the money is great, and I probably could have maybe got on another team, played a couple more years, and made my money. But to me, it wasn't worth it feeling like a job. Me not smiling every single day going to work. I don't do MMA because um, I have to do it. I can do a lot of things. I have a good work ethic. I have a mindset. I think I have a good mind for a lot of things. I do MMA because I need to do this, right? So this is a lifestyle to me. It's not just a sport. I dedicate my entire life to this. So when you do those things, you better be having fun. Because if you aren't having fun with this whole process, then what the hell are you doing? I mean, if I wasn't having fun with this, then shit, I'll go work in an office job, wear a tie, and deal with a boss that I hate every single day. But nah, I love this. I love the grind. I love the soreness of my body. I love throwing it down with my sparring partners. I love the blood. I love everything, man. Because I understand that we are the lucky ones. I think a lot of people can go online, nitpick, oh, he should have did this, he should have did that. But deep down, those people want to be in there with us, and they're not for whatever reason. Maybe they're scared. Maybe just circumstances of life prevented them from stepping foot in that cage. But I'm the lucky one, man. So, with all that being said, yeah, this is a job. This helps me pay the bills, help me support my son. But goddamn, man, I'm having fun with this as well.
Yeah, man, I couldn't have said it any better. Now you're gonna have some more fun April 27th when you step back into that cage, the octagon. Denise, what do you think of him, man, in the
Yeah,
matchup?
yeah. Obviously, the UFC knows what they're doing. On paper, it's striker versus striker. But I think if you dive deeper into it, you have a kickboxer versus a fighter. And I think when we talk about my fight skills, yes, I'm known to be a striker. I'm known for knockout power, but there's a lot more to my game that hasn't been showed yet. And maybe it will present itself. We shall see. When we talk about Denise, obviously he's fought the who's who in terms of kickboxing. He's fought some of the greats, held his own against those guys. Obviously, his MMA career he has a clean record so far. Did his thing on Dana White's Contender Series, had a great performance there, has power in his hands. He's a good striker. I think that I'm confident though in my skill set of what I do and dictating where the fight wants to go.
Denise, man, he's I think he's 6-0, undefeated, all first round finishes. You were at that point in your career one time where you were knocking off everybody undefeated. How does that feel as a fighter?
Yeah. How does it feel to knock people out?
Well, having that streak and first
Oh
round
yeah,
finishes,
yeah,
everybody's like,
yeah. I mean, it's obviously it's a confidence booster, right? Especially when you talk about knocking people out. Um, I mean, I've had a couple submissions on my record as well, and with those submissions, it's cool. It's still a win, but there is something about getting that KO. Something that's just self fulfilling. Getting out to a hot start, it builds your confidence. And in this sport, it's all about mentality and confidence. So I'm sure he's riding high right now, just like I was. I had a few stumbles here or there, but once again, without those stumbles that I've had, I wouldn't be the fighter that I am now. When I look back at the fights that I've lost, you know, um, all of them, I don't recognize that fighter anymore because I made monumental strides from every one of those losses. He hasn't had that yet. Now he's suffered his fair share of losses in kickboxing, so he's been there as well, and I'm sure he's grown from those. But fighting is a different sport. There's kickboxing and there's fighting, and I plan to showcase my fighting skills.
do you feel like losses in the UFC is more magnified for fighters?
Um, if you let them be magnified, I think. I mean, it's definitely not as bad as boxing, right? I feel like boxing, you have one loss on your record, and that can ruin all your momentum, and all of a sudden you're not fighting on the main event of the Dazzling card or whatever like that, and you're not making millions of dollars. In MMA, it's a little different. I feel like those losses can be amplified though in terms of how fighters handle their social media. In terms of me, like I'm on there, man, but I'm never really on there, if you know what I'm saying. I feel like I don't really give a shit about the opinion of strangers. I have a close circle, and I value their opinion. Um, I prefer people to like me, to like my story. But if you don't, man, that's okay. I still got love for you. But I think a lot of fighters get more affected, not necessarily from the loss, but the reaction that they receive from that loss. And that's the thing that I've always just tried to face head on. Like obviously, when I got beat by Justin Taffa, yeah, man, the DMs were full. Oh, I bet my kid's college education on you, and you lost, and all this shit. And it's just like, man, I'm sorry that happened, but I don't know you, so I don't owe you anything. I'm just trying to live my life. And I think sometimes as fighters, people get way too caught up in the comments in terms of the criticism and things like that. But once again, I'm just speaking for myself, man. Everyone's got their own journey. Everyone handles things differently. When it comes to me personally, though, I'm not really affected by the noise. It doesn't really matter to me.
Do you feel like your NFL career has helped you with handling that? Because in the NFL, man, it's magnified like crazy. The sport is fucking massive.
Yeah, yeah. It's definitely helped, in terms of just how to carry yourself. I think as a professional, I think that's helped. Establishing a routine, sticking with that routine, taking care of yourself, taking care of your body, and to really, I mean, I can go on. I can give you a damn TED talk about body maintenance and all, and the mentality and all this shit. But uh, I'll basically break it down like this. What I've discovered, man, in this journey and in my previous journey, that there's one of two things. There's one or two roads you can go, right? And it's black and white. There is no gray area here. Either every single day you're doing things to get better, or you're doing things to get worse. It's as simple as that. You can't hide from that. So when I wake up every single day, I look myself in the mirror and saying, "All right, what can I do to get better today? And what can I avoid to get worse?" And it's as simple as that. And I just stack those days, day after day after day, and that's led me to where I'm at right now. And I think that's going to lead me to a win April 27th.
Where are you splitting your camp? Like, how are you dividing your training?
Yeah, so I'm in Jacksonville. I'm splitting between Jacksonville and Jacksonville Beach. I live out at Jacksonville Beach, but been getting a lot of time with my guys at Elevate MMA. There's there's 4 UFC fighters there right now, and then that's been kind of a big part of this camp is getting some new faces, getting some new minds, and giving me some advice in terms of what I need to do better and what I need to do, going forward. And that's made all the difference in the world. I mean, I have great sparring partners. I mean, we had Sean Strickland in last week. It would have been or 2 weeks ago. And if you know anything about Sean in terms of his sparring, that dude doesn't give a shit. He shows up with nothing, no gloves, no pads, nothing. Just say, hey, give me some gloves, let's go. I'm like, okay, fuck it, let's go, man. So obviously, Sean threw down for a couple rounds. That was fun. Definitely a hard puzzle to solve in terms of that Philly shell defense. But I obviously embraced the challenge. It was a fucking blast to just throw down with somebody. But no, I mean we have plenty of big guys. Alton Meeks is a guy who's fought for PFL before, a Greco-Roman specialist, the best grappler you're ever going to go against at heavyweight. He's been getting me right, man. It's been a training camp that has had a lot of faces that have helped me out, man. I'm super thankful for that. I mean, you talk about Stephen Koslow, UFC fighter, Trey Waters, UFC fighter, Preston Parsons, really the first guy out of Jacksonville that got to the UFC. I always call him the pioneer, if you will. He's been in camp helping me out a lot as well. So, and obviously my brother, I call him, man, Ramon Tavares. It's weird to say his name because I just call him Fats, you know what I'm saying? But my brother, Ramon Tavares, has been a big monumental help as well. And then The guy holding the pads right now and kind of come up with a game plan is Seth Dupuis. And once again, that's kind of the guy that's been an architect for a couple of those UFC fighters that I just mentioned.
Nice, man. Nice. Yeah, Preston Parsons, man. I always hear about him from fighters that are coming out of that region. I just interviewed Kevin Church, and he was mentioning Preston Parsons and elevating
Oh, my
MMA.
boy. Church. So me and Church were both, we came up through 10th Planet together.
Yeah.
Here in Jacksonville, I know he's doing his thing in Thailand. That's one of my close brothers right there, man. It's good to hear that name. He's a great dude.
Yeah, solid dude, man. He's down at Phuket Fight Club. He's doing his thing. Back to you, man. What's your expectations out of yourself in this fight coming up?
Oh, of myself, man, they're always the same, and it's gonna be showcasing beautiful violence. Simple as that.
Simple, huh? Nice. April 27th, man, UFC Fight Night, Las Vegas. Austen, thank you so much, man, for taking the time. It was good to get the first one out of the way. Hopefully we do 10 of them, 15 of them, man. All luck.
No, man. Without a doubt, man. Let's do this again real soon, bro. I appreciate you, man. Keep doing your thing as well. I appreciate the swag that you got going on. The hair's looking extra wavy today, so props to you, brother. I appreciate you having me on.